Hello, everyone, and welcome to When Fall Meets Spring. I'm Rebecca, and I am so excited to have my dear friend Lena with me today. We actually first really connected because I was going on a trip to Switzerland, and she is from Switzerland. And so we got to chat about places. She gave me recommendations, but then I started to learn more about her story. And as I started creating this podcast, I thought she would be an amazing guest to have on, talking about her move onto a completely different continent, different country, learning the new culture, language, everything that she has been through, the ups and the downs in that process. So Lena, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. So before we get started, I have to ask you the question I like to ask everyone to get us going. And that is, what are you grateful for today?
That's actually very simple. After all those freezing days,
yes.
I'm so grateful for finally having a tiny bit warmer temperatures.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. We have been in absolutely freezing weather here. It's been in the teens.
I mean, I'm from Switzerland. I'm used to cold, but that was really bad.
That was really cold.
Really bad. Yeah.
How cold does it get in Switzerland?
I mean, the same, but it would have been a cold winter too in Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like my answer might be the same every time, but I'm just so grateful to have you here because Lena was very nervous about coming on.
Yeah,
and
well, you convinced me.
I guilted her into it. And I'm so grateful that she's here because I did not know if that was going to happen. So thank you.
Sure.
So you moved from Switzerland in 2020?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Where in Switzerland are you from?
So I grew up in central Switzerland, but then like the last 13 years we were living in the south from Switzerland, like 45 minutes to the border of Italy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But you speak Swiss German.
I speak Swiss German, a little bit of French, and a little bit of Italian.
Okay.
But I was not speaking English.
Yes. Everything but English. What were your favorite parts, or what are your favorite parts about Switzerland?
What I love about Switzerland is like the scenery is so wonderful, and you can have almost everything. You don't have the ocean, unfortunately, but you have multiple lakes. You have the high mountains, you have hills, and for sure the good food. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's so many things.
Too many to name.
Yeah, I mean, it's really one of the richest countries. So life quality is very high.
Mm. How did you feel about having to move?
I mean, we always wanted to do something like that. But the plan was to go somewhere for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And in my mind, it was somewhere in Europe still.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
not overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, but somehow my husband got this offer to come here. And we accepted.
And then you had a really quick move.
Yeah, because it was COVID. They were not really giving visas out.
Okay.
And we had to wait for this special work visa. And the whole process was like a couple months. And then finally we got the visa, but with the knowing that we have to move in 30 days.
Okay. So you had a waiting period to get the visa, but then as soon as you got it, you had to move within 30 days.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, you couldn't even set up your housing before that point, right?
No, there was really not a lot of time to shut down the life in Switzerland and kind of organize the life here. The plan was actually to come here first to see where we want to live, maybe go and see a couple houses, but that was all not possible.
Yeah. Do you think that helped you or made it harder in the move going that fast?
I think in my mind it made it harder, but in reality it was actually easier. You just do.
Yes.
You're just doing your stuff and you don't think a lot.
No, it's like you push the emotions away and just get focused on
definitely.
on what you have to do. And then you also have 2 kids and you had to figure out stuff for them as well, because they were how old when you moved?
My daughter was 13, my son was 11. Yeah. And they were far away from being fluent in English. They were able to say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. That's it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did a last minute English class online in Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
The 3 of us. My husband was already pretty fluent, but we did like I remember that right now. we did like 3 weeks online class. English.
Wow. Yeah, just a crash course. And were you concerned of how they were going to adjust?
Yes. Yeah, I was really concerned because they had their friends, they had their hobbies, their life.
Right.
I remember when we told them that we will move, that our son was pretty calm. He was like, okay, that's fine. And our daughter was like devastated. She cried and she was really so concerned. But then shortly before we moved, it changed. Like then she was like, okay, I can do it. And he was more concerned.
And how did all of your family and friends react?
Oh, very different. Some were very sad. And I remember my mom was she had a very hard time to say goodbye. My parents are older.
Yeah.
And she thought the USA is so far away.
Yeah.
I will never go there and my daughter will be like gone. So she really had a hard time. But there were friends, they were like, well, that's life. Enjoy, have a good time. And also I have to say, when we left, we thought we will stay for just 2 years.
Okay. So you had a deadline that you were looking at.
At least in my head.
Yes.
No, that was actually really the plan.
Okay. Yeah. And here you are,
and
almost 6 years later. And are there any plans?
Stuck with me.
I'm stuck with you forever. We're holding you hostage.
Yeah.
So now that you've moved after being here for 6 years, how has it been being away from family and friends out there?
It's a process and also an up and down. In general, I think you just adjust more and more. You have to. But there are times where I'm homesick or one of my kids is.
Yeah.
And I think that's just normal and it's okay.
What was it like building a new community here?
Yeah, it was a bit hard the first couple weeks or month because of COVID. But I was also busy to just learn about the new country.
Yeah.
Let's say it that way. Where do I get my groceries and everything. But as soon as they opened things like church, that was a huge help for me or for us to get in touch with people. And of course, for the kids, it was like when they opened school.
Okay.
To finally go in person and meet.
That's true.
Meet friends in person. That was not, of course, a help for them. And for me personal, it was going to church, be able to meet people in real life. And I have to say, it's pretty easy to get in touch with people here in the US. I think people are really open and they are welcoming, and that's a huge help. And also, because of the language barrier, like I was really far away from being fluent, but Americans are so nice when it comes to language. I mean, they're like, no, you're fine. You're fine. Just talk and I understand, or I will ask questions.
Yes.
And they're so nice when it comes to help someone to arrive.
That's so good to hear.
Yes.
See, I'm just so impressed at anyone who can speak multiple languages. And I don't care if they're stuttering over every word. They're speaking a completely different language.
You know, now you know why I didn't want to come here, because it's just, you can hear just my language and all my struggles.
But you really can't. You might be hearing it or you might be thinking it because you're having to think through all of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come out that way. It doesn't sound like you're struggling at all.
Well, ask my kids. They would say something different.
Well, your kids are
They're
surrounded
They're embarrassed
in
about
school.
my English.
You tell them they are in the perfect age where they could just soak up a new language. You had to learn it as an adult, which is harder because your brain isn't still forming.
Right.
So they had an advantage. You had
That's
a
true.
disadvantage.
That's true. Thank you for
Yes.
See, that's grace. Americans are so nice. But I remember I had to take the driver's test here.
Oh,
And that was really challenging because of all the words, like they're very specific.
uh-huh.
And I remember like my husband was just going to take the test and I had to study hours and hours and hours.
When was it that you took the test? How soon after you moved?
Just I think a couple months after.
Yeah,
we arrived.
so you were still trying to get a grasp of English.
Yes.
Did you pass it?
I passed it.
Oh, good.
And honestly, we were lucky because we passed because of me. I don't know why, but we were allowed to talk
Oh,
at the
What?
when they took the test. We were allowed to talk together.
what?
And there were a couple questions, and I saw my husband was like struggling, and I was like, "See, I told you, you have to prepare yourself before."
Uh-huh.
So thank God, because I knew everything.
You saved the day.
Yes.
He would have never gotten his driver's license. So what would you say have been the biggest cultural differences that you've had to adjust to?
So as much as I like that Americans are very open and they give you grace with language and everything, and it's so easy to get in touch very quickly, to really build deep relationships, that's very different. And that's a struggle, or that's just a barrier. Like, I'm a person who wants to have a deep relationship with my friends. And I think, of course, in the beginning, it helps to get connected with people. But I don't really have an answer why there is such a cultural difference. What I assume is Americans, they travel more.
Yeah.
And they are used to, hey, I'm here now, I live in the moment, and then I leave again. Maybe, I don't know, you know? And in Switzerland, most people, they move maybe once or twice in their life. And then you are there, you build your community and you stay there and you want to be rooted there and you build very close, deep relationships. And that took longer here. And then, of course, there are all the small things like if you go to a restaurant, like what is appropriate, what is not appropriate. Like in Switzerland, no one would take away your plate if there's someone still eating at the table.
Okay.
Things like very funny things sometimes.
Right.
And yeah, there are a lot of small things. But I think the main thing is, for me, personal, is it's harder to build deeper relationships.
Okay. So what was it, do you think, that helped you build those deeper connections here?
I think if you meet people who have the same values and the same just views on how you want to live your life, and you try to share, to me it was like to take the first step again and again and tell people more personal things about myself.
Okay.
So they were finally like, oh, okay, she is telling me really deep stuff, so maybe I can open up to her.
You took the steps of opening up first.
Not to get in touch with people, but to grow friendships.
Okay.
I would say that was not with everyone, but mainly you have to push yourself a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, push yourself
and also,
out of your
like,
comfort
you have
zone.
to accept that people are different, you know?
Well, and you probably, I mean, this is just from my experience, so you might have had a different experience, but you have to be okay with the rejection or it not turning into something.
Right.
Like, you have to take the risks in order to reap those rewards.
Right. So, and in my story, I think it was a bit hard because my husband and I, we grew up in central area from Switzerland. And when we moved to the south, where we were living for 13 years, people were not open. Like it was very hard to get in touch with them. And in the beginning, that was so hard for me. And I felt that rejection all the time. And I stepped back for taking first steps. And I was like, maybe there's something wrong with me, that people don't like me. But over the time, I got in touch, but it took me so much longer. And here it was like, oh, it's so easy to get friends. But then to feel, oh, there's a barrier. Like, you're quickly in touch with people, but then it takes forever to go deeper.
Yes. How long would you say it took before you felt like you had those deep connections?
Maybe 2 years.
Okay. And a lot of people get really frustrated by that point.
Yeah, I think it's also it's a perspective, you know, not everyone is the same. I love relationships with friends. I need that. And it's kind of my passion. So to not be able, you know, you can't force it.
Yeah.
And not to go down again to think, oh, I'm probably a crazy person, like no one wants to get in touch with me. To not give room for those thoughts. That was like, but it was a good process for me.
So what would you say through this whole process? What have you learned about yourself?
About myself?
Yes. Or what, like, how have you grown through it?
I think one point is to, as I said, you just take the step again and again and again, and not just give up. And also, I had to deal with my thoughts and with all my feelings in the past, and to learn about myself. Hey, yeah, I experienced rejection in the past. It doesn't have to mean that this is the same now. And it doesn't mean that I'm an awful person. I hope.
Yes.
And in general, what I learned about myself is that I have to give myself grace, but also others. Just because, you know, just because I grew up in a country where I was used to certain things, I can't expect the same where I go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It takes time to learn about a new culture, and then to see it as you gain something from it, and not, oh, this is different. I lose all the things that I have. No, it's just different.
That's such a beautiful perspective.
Thank you. I think so.
It is. It is. Because a lot of people see that lack. They see what they lost, and they see, or they focus on what they're missing and what they wish was different. But instead, what you're finding is that it's just sort of adding to life and your experiences.
I think in general, you could take that for everything.
That's true.
You can take everything and you just see it as a hard time in your life where you can learn from it and you gain from it. Mm-hmm. Or you can go down and just be sad for yourself and sorry for yourself.
Yeah. So if somebody was experiencing something like this, that, you know, their whole life has been uprooted, they're having to adjust, they're in a new place, they might not know anybody, what advice would you give to them?
Put yourself out there. Go and get yourself involved somehow. Mm-hmm. To me, it was church. Mm-hmm. And you just have to put yourself out there. Mm-hmm. And it will not feel great in the beginning. Yeah. But you're not just being able to get to learn new people and a new culture. You learn about yourself. And that's always a great chance, you know, to move.
Mm-hmm. And as some encouragement to, again, people who might be going through something like that, how have your kids adjusted?
I made them finding hobbies, do stuff. And sometimes it was really hard because sometimes I literally had to push them and tell them, hey, we're going now. I will bring you to whatever dance class. And I gave them like different choices. Like, those are the choices. You can do soccer, you can do this, or you can do that. Flag football, whatever. You have to choose one.
Okay.
List. And of course, school helped them, and also church. Yeah.
Yeah, just getting among people, making new friends. Have they made some good friends?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Good. I mean, I know your kids. I love your kids. They seem like they have adjusted beautifully. But of course, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So it's always good to hear.
Yeah, in general, I think they feel pretty comfortable.
Good. And I know a lot of parents, especially who are moving their whole family, are always concerned about how their kids are going to adjust. And so hearing your story, I hope, is an encouragement for somebody.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, you think you take the roots away from them, but we have to be reminded every now and then that our home is not here on this earth. And I think it's a great lesson for everyone to just learn, we're just here for a while, and we are able to adjust. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. That's
really good. Yeah.
And that's how we learn to also, I think, be more open and be more flexible. And you can see it always as a win. You know?
That's so good.
You know, there are moments where you would ask me and I'm like, oh, I want to go back and I miss this or that. But it's always about how you position yourself. You can always see the empty glass or the chance to fill the glass with new water or with a new drink.
Man, can I just like soak in all of your wisdom and all of your positivity?
No. As I said, that's not always the case. Ask my kids.
But I think that's so natural, and that's so human nature. Is just,
it is.
We do struggle, and it is so easy sometimes to focus on what we wish was different. And so just hearing you and hearing your perspective is so encouraging to me in reminding myself to continue looking at the positive, continue the glass half full perspective, and seeing it all as a win and an opportunity for growth and for learning. And I keep thinking back to the fact that you said the plan was to be here for 2 years, but then it took you 2 years before you finally felt like, oh, I know people. And imagine if you were then moving back right at that point.
Yeah, I remember there was the point where we were discussing, like, are we staying? Are we moving back? And that was that was a huge struggle, because also everyone back in Switzerland was asking us, hey, when are you coming back? And there was this time when we were like between two worlds. We were here, but we were not really here. But we were not back home in Switzerland. So to call the place home here, that was kind of a decision in our head to finally say, okay, we still don't know, but I can't live with the constant feeling of, oh, I need to have packed suitcases. Like, you need to live where you are. And we finally just told people, well, we're just in the US now and we don't know. And for ourselves, it was important to make the decision, hey, we're here not knowing where it will lead, but we're not going back for now.
Yeah.
And this is our home now. Because there were moments when I had a hard time to get more in touch with people. There was this kind of thing in my head, oh, well, if we will go back anyways, why should I, invest my time in deeper friendships?
Yeah. It's an easy mentality to get into.
Right.
And if you're thinking of any move in the future, it's easy to slip into that. Oh, I'm just here for now, so I don't need to invest.
Right.
But then you never know if 2 years turns into 6 years.
Yeah. You should really make the best actually out of every day, every moment, if you see it that way.
Yeah.
Live in the moment.
Yes. Because if you just have like flitting memories and moments, then you sort of just watch your life pass by, or your life just passes you by and you don't realize it until suddenly you look back and realize there was nothing substantial that you can really hold on to.
I don't know about you, but me, I tend sometimes to, oh, maybe one day and in the future, instead of I have what I have right now.
Yes.
And I make the best of today.
Yes. How do you make the best of today, Lena?
I'm here. I don't know if this is a good thing. No, I was pretty nervous to come here, but I was like, yeah, this is happening today, and today is today, and I want to enjoy what I have today and take it as a chance, as a God-given life that I have now. I'm breathing. I'm alive. I have more than anything that I need. That's enough. I'm at peace.
So beautiful.
That's more than, that a lot of people have.
Yeah. Well, on that note, what encouragement do you want to leave our listeners with today?
It might not sound as an encouragement, but it is. Let go of your expectations much more than you maybe think. I think we have a lot of false expectations on, in my case, it was maybe friendships, how relationships work. But in general, I think society gives us a certain way on living in general, and let go of expectations, give them to God, He will make so much better out of it. And I don't say lower your expectations, but I say let them go. Let them go. Because there's someone who can give you so much more than you even could expect.
I would say, like we were talking about before, live in the moment, embrace the moment, recognize that life passes so much faster than we realize. And if we just keep taking it for granted, then all of a sudden it'll be gone. And we don't know if we have tomorrow. So embrace today. Do everything that you can. I'm not saying work yourself to death because that's a very different mentality. But just don't take it for granted would be my encouragement. I guess both of our encouragements are really calls to call outs, but I think those are really good perspectives. And look at it half full, as Lena says. Glass half full. Look at the positive. Find every opportunity to learn.
You can look at the empty glass, but see it as a chance. Hey, I can fill it with whatever.
Look at that. Lena keeps coming in more and more. Well, thank you, Lena, for being here today.
Sure.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
And everybody tuning in, thank you for being here. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. Bye.
Bye.